Hi, welcome to the Yale University Art Gallery in New Haven, Connecticut. Come on in and have a seat. This is Stories in Art. Please feel free to pause the video whenever you'd like to get a closer look at the artwork. Enjoy!
Hello, my name is Emmanuel. I'm a gallery teacher at the Yale University Art Gallery. Today, I will be telling you a story called The King's Magic Drum from the Igbo people of southern Nigeria in Africa. This story is passed down orally. That means by word of mouth. The version we are telling is adapted from Andrew Lang, who recorded this story in 1910, over 100 years ago. We don't know exactly what the drum in the story looked like, but we imagine it may have looked a little like these two drums from the Yale University Art Gallery's collection. We no longer know the names of the artists who made these drums. The first drum is from Yorùbá land on the coast of Nigeria. Let's look around the drum. What do you notice? When I look at this drum from Yorùbá land, I see many different figures. It seems like a gathering of people. The second drum we'll look at is from the Fante people of modern-day Ghana, which is much further north. What do you notice? I notice lots of animals and people. Be sure to look closely as I tell the story. A long time ago, there lived an ancient king of the Igbo people, whose prized possession was a magical drum. When the drum was beaten, dom, 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 the most wonderful feast appeared. Whenever another country argued with his kingdom, he called all his enemies together and beat the drum. Dom, 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 dom. Instead of fighting each other, everyone would find tables spread with all sorts of dishes of food and plenty of juice to drink. As their bellies became full, the king's enemies would become content and happy, and they would leave as friends. Every few months, the king would send invitations to everyone, not just his enemies, but all the animals in his kingdom. Elephants, hippopotami, leopards, oxen, antelopes, birds, and even lions came to feast at his table. In those days, no one would fight. Peace reigned, and everyone was too full for wars. There was only one rule a person had to know if they owned a drum. If you walked over any stick on the road, all the food would immediately go bad, and nothing but trouble would come. Many people wanted the king's magic drum for themselves. Nowhere was this more true than for Tortoise. Tortoise hated working to get food and spending all day picking fruit from trees. He wanted to be rich and popular like the king. So Tortoise came up with an idea to trick the king out of his drum. One morning, while the queen was with her daughter, Tortoise, who was waiting in a tree, let a delicious-looking palm nut fall to the ground. When the queen picked up the palm nut and gave it to her daughter, Tortoise showed up and said, "I am a poor tortoise, and I have climbed the tree to get palm nuts for myself and my family. You've taken my food. I think we should go see the king and see what he has to say." The queen took Tortoise to her husband and told him what had taken place. The king then asked Tortoise what he would accept as compensation for the loss of his palm nut. The king offered him money, clothes, food, and land. Tortoise refused each one after the other. The king then said to Tortoise, "What will you take? You may have anything you like." And Tortoise immediately pointed to the king's drum and said, "It is the only thing I want." The king said, "Very well, take the drum." But the king never told Tortoise about the bad things that would happen if he walked over a stick in the road. Tortoise carried the drum home in triumph to his family and said, "I am now a rich animal and shall do no more work. Whenever I want food, all I have to do is beat this drum." So he beat the drum in the same way as he had seen the king do when he wanted something to eat. Dom, do, dom, dom. Immediately, plenty of food appeared. Tortoise and his family all sat down and ate a great feast. Tortoise was very proud of his drum. In order to show everyone his riches, he sent invitations to the king and all the people and animals to come to a feast. After the feast, everyone looked upon Tortoise as one of the richest in the kingdom. No one, except the king, could understand how the poor tortoise could suddenly entertain so many people. But they all made up their minds that if Tortoise ever gave another feast, they would not refuse. Soon, Tortoise began to stop doing any work. Instead, Tortoise carried the drum with him everywhere. And everywhere he went, Tortoise ate, drank, and boasted about how rich he had become. Then one day, when he was walking, too busy showing everyone how rich he was, he stepped right over a stick in the road. He went to sleep without noticing any change in the drum's magic. The next morning, Tortoise was hungry, and he still wished to show off his riches. So Tortoise sent invitations for a great feast in his honor. And he told everyone not to eat until they got there. Hundreds of animals and people arrived ready to fill their bellies after their long trips. Only this time, when Tortoise beat the drum, dom, do, dom, dom, all the guests' plates were filled with the opposite of good food. It was old food, rotten food, and lots of dirt. The juice turned into mud. And all the guests were now very angry. They had traveled very far and were so hungry. The guests began to chase Tortoise and his family. Tortoise and his family raced to the riverbank and hid amidst tall reeds. There they have lived ever since, feasting on fallen fruits, worms, and grass. And that drum? No one knows where it is, but everyone searches, hoping to one day bring peace back to the world. The end. Now that you've heard that story and looked at these two drums, let's do an activity. If you were to design a drum for the story I just told, what would it look like and how would you decorate it? Grab a pencil and paper and draw some of your ideas. We hope you have fun.
Thank you for joining us for Stories in Art at the Yale University Art Gallery. We hope you enjoyed listening and looking with our storyteller.